Union Gospel Mission's purpose is to feed the hungry, restore the addict, and love our neighbor. And we've been doing that 90 years, which is pretty amazing. Jim and Mary Dryden have been involved throughout most of that 90 years. Jim's father was helping the homeless in Portland before Union Gospel Mission got founded.
And near downtown Portland, that's where they got off the trains, where they were riding on the outside or hanging on or to get here free. They get off down there by Lloyd Center and go up on the banks. Some of them would also come through up our neighborhood begging at doors. And so we'd give them food at our house, and that got interested in finding a place near the tracks. I suppose this is where it started, by them coming through different neighborhoods looking for food.
And so your dad decided he should try and find a place to help,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those compassionate interactions really led Jim's father and other people from churches to get together and to form Union Gospel Mission in 1927. And so they opened the chapel, they dedicated it to presenting Christ to defeated and hopeless men. And in the first month, over 3,000 men came to chapel as these workers fanned out and reached people, found people, and brought them to Union Gospel Mission. A couple of years after the mission was formed, the Great Depression hit America, and through the 30s, the number of homeless people just swelled, and it really tested Union Gospel Mission. If it weren't for the dedicated service of volunteers and the generosity of Portland people, I don't know how they would have made it, but they did make it. And in fact, in the 1930s, the mission purchased the property at 3rd and Burnside that Union Gospel Mission is still in. Our headquarters are here. The original mission is still there. It was during that time that a young volunteer named Jim came in and met another volunteer named Mary.
This is kind of what we looked like when we were dating. This was before we were married. I was 15 and Jim was out of the service at 20. And we had a wonderful young people's group going that went to the mission. And so that's what our dates were, because I was young and we started dating. I was around 17. And so my dad said I had to be home at 9:30, and he and his friend were the only ones that had cars. So he had to take me home first most of the time. But we went to the mission one night a month, Saturday night. And these young guys just out of the service, most of them learned how to preach, just practicing on these men. Most of them were asleep in the audience or else drunk. The girls would hand out tracts, gospel tracts to them. That was kind of our social life. And then our camp started and was part of camp work. And so, that's the kind of thing. We couldn't afford to eat out any place. It was just a good life to have for young people, to keep us busy in good things. So and we just grew very close together.
We went to a couple of old folks' homes.
Yeah, we did.
They had services in old folks' homes. And here we are.
They're coming to sing to us now.
Unemployment went down as World War II came on because everyone was off the war or working in the war effort. And so many of the missions around the country closed down, but not here in Portland. Union Gospel Mission held on. It still had people to help, and they made it through the war. And then after the war, as unemployment went back up, the need to help the homeless continued and grew.
The thousands of guys and women have come through the mission and had their life changed, and where they've gone from here, we couldn't begin to imagine the thousands of people whose lives were changed at Union Gospel Mission and back to their families and into God's work. Oh.
We are so thankful for Jim's father and the others who came together to found Union Gospel Mission. It was really a brave thing to do. 40 area churches founding something that didn't exist in Portland. We're also grateful to Jim and Mary sharing their story of how over the years Union Gospel Mission was part of their courtship, which has lasted over 70 years. Many things have changed since 1927, but the one constant has been compassionate friends like Jim and Mary sharing God's love.